this computer. Okay, so today we're going to be um, working with the chapter on impermanence. And so I am hopeful that you all read through the chapter or skimmed through the chapter. If not, then you will still benefit. Impermanence is one of those concepts that I feel like is easy to understand intellectually for most people, but it takes us a lot to really get it experientially. And so it's one of those chapters that it is of great benefit to read, but um, if you didn't, it's not going to hinder your enjoyment of our session today. So let's begin with refuge. So as we take refuge, we're imagining ourselves in a ordinary and extraordinary place together with the perfect teacher in front of us, with our parents on either side, surrounded by friends, surrounded by family, your enemies in front of you, your friends behind you, neutral beings all around, inviting all beings into the practice. And thing is moving. We'll take a moment to settle the body into this space. Feel your feet on your seat, your butt on your chair. Notice the spine rising up one vertebrae at a time. All the way up through the back, through the neck, up to the head, and just in front of the spine is the central chin. And just holding awareness of the central channel. Just notice it's there while we take a few deep breaths. In through the nose, and you can stretch the Lama Lina channel stretch. And out through the mouth. It's like an expansion and a relaxation. The short Dzogchen refuge prayer. And while we say this, while we do the refuge, even if you do the long lineage prayer, while we're doing this, not only are we imagining this particular lineage. So in my mind, for me, I am visualizing Lama Lina, Lama Wangdor. Actually, there's Lama Wangdor in the painting right there. And his teacher above him and his teacher above him, all the way up, back through Marpa, Milarepa, all them, all the way up to Samantrabhadra. And I'm imagining the refuge tree all the way up, right? And so that's the traditional. you have this very clear lineage, but we're also bringing in all of our teachers. I mean, the people who taught you how to read, the people who taught you how to cook, do your own laundry, taught you how to drive, people who taught you how to use a computer, how to use Zoom, right? These are all part of of this bulk of knowledge that we have access to. So open it wide up, not just not just the strict single lineage. It's a much bigger tree, bigger tree. Sanjay Purang Gedun La Chapsu Chiwo Lama Yidam Kandro La Chapsu Chiwo Salung Tigli La Chapsu Chiwo Chuku Lanku Truku La Chapsu Chiwo Rangsam Tongsel Nyo La Chapsu Chiwo. And then all of those teachers, all of those wisdom beings, all come together in the form of your root guru or whoever symbolizes the teacher for you. And the root guru sits on the crown of your head for just a moment. And then right here at the crown, the central channel opens up. And then, like a straw, you suck in all that wisdom down through the central channel and drop it down into the heart. And so now you have a little guru in your heart, a little teacher in your heart. So we're never separate from this. The teacher's always in there. Always guiding us, appearing in different forms. And so, like I said earlier, this idea of impermanence is something that we start recognizing pretty early in life. Things change, you know. Your body changes, other people change, the surroundings change. You move houses, you know. You go through school, somebody who was your friend yesterday isn't your friend anymore because, your children and children do funny things, all of these things happen. The weather changes, the seasons change. And so here's the hard part is that if everything is changing, then what is there to stand on? And that's what Patrul Rinpoche really wants us to examine is this as we go on the Buddhist path, this idea of refuge is something that we can come back to over and over. The Dharma is something that we can go back to over and over. Um, so for this first writing exercise, this is where I'm trying to bring it. Is that you're older now, right? We've got some time, some experience. None of you are complete beginners in the Dharma. You've had some study. You've read these books a little bit. You've heard Lama Lena talk a few times, these kinds of things. So you have some wisdom. You've spent time connecting with that inner teacher that has always been present, with these teachings that have stood the test of time. And you can even widen, you look at the history and the metaphysics of the Buddha Dharma. And so I have been told that this is beyond this planet, beyond this particular point in the time-space continuum. This is beyond our species, right? These teachings get passed down through, over and over again, they arise. So we have this some experience of impermanence. And so what I want to do today for this first one is, last time we wrote a letter to our great grandparents or our great great grandparents, right? Today we're going to write a letter to our 5-year-old self. And I want you to explain to a 5-year-old, to you as 5 years old, impermanence. However you want to do that. However, simply, I'm encouraging, I want this to be simple. I'm encouraging you to be very simple. That's why I'm choosing 5. If it's very difficult for you to approach you as a 5-year-old, like, that's intense for me. If that's difficult, just imagine neighbor kid, 5 years old. You know what I mean? Just a 5-year-old that you're friendly with. Because it can be really tough to do that inner child work. So if that's something that you want to explore, this is a safe place to do that. If you'd rather write to the 5-year-old down the street, you can do that too. But let's see if we can break it down. And instead of getting super intellectual about it. Does that feel clear? Explain like you're 5. Impermanence. All right, let's start. 7 minutes. I'm starting the timer for 7 minutes. Okay, that's 7 minutes. So let's wrap up our thought. And okay, is there anybody who would like to share? See, they're still furious writing. That's okay. I'm feeling the same way. I had a big thought that I wanted to get down and it just didn't happen. Okay, Karen, you want to go? You want to go ahead? Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Um, you can probably tell I don't have kids because this is probably not appropriate for a 5-year-old. But here we are. And I did write it to myself. Dearest one, the chocolate that you so enjoy did not always exist. The cocoa bean was eaten, and over a lot of years, people decided to mix it with sugar, and they realized that you can change its temperature. You can melt it and harden it. And then humans made machines and factories where they did this really fast and for a lot of people at once. And now this chocolate has arrived in your hand, and you'll eat it and enjoy it. And then it'll go into your stomach, and your body will break it down again and take out some stuff for your body like vitamins, and then the rest will come out as poop. And now it's draining down the toilet and into the sewers, and you could have another chocolate, but the first one is gone. And so, dear one, remember that everything has a beginning, that everything that has a beginning has an ending. It's always changing. The trees grow from an acorn passing through winter, spring, summer, and fall. So what should we do? No matter how hard you try, that first chocolate is destined to disappear. So while it's here, you might as well enjoy it. And remember that everyone around you is just trying to make the good things last and the hard things go away. So you can give them a huge gift by being kind. And you can forgive them when they hurt you. And you can also be super kind to yourself.
It's beautiful. Kids love poop. That's totally appropriate. Yeah. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Can I read? Can I read? Okay. Everything moves. Do you see it? Look at the tree. Many years ago, it was a seed. Then time passed, and the seasons changed. Some days were sunny, others it rained. And the tree grew and grew. And if you dig down in the dirt, there's no more seed. If you look for the first leaves that grew on the tree, you won't find them. Every year, the leaves fall off and the tree grows new ones. Even the really pretty leaves, the ones you like a whole lot, they fall off and become part of the soil. That's all I got to write. Yes. Thank you. Anybody else like to share? Antonio, go ahead.
So, dear 5-year-old down the street, did you notice how the sun rises and falls, rises and falls, rises and... I know you did. I know it makes you scared. Because how can you hold to anything if the sun itself is so unreliable? What can you rely on? I have good and bad news for you. The bad news, you can't hold on to the sun. The good news, you can't hold on to the sun. The really, really good news is when the sun does rise, like now, how grateful you are that it did. But you want to know what can you rely on. Look in the mirror, forget who you are, and there's your answer.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of the last sentence.
That hit me. I'm about to write that down. Thank you so much. All right. Anybody else like to share? No, no pressure. Okay. So, yeah. So something that I noticed and just what we wrote today, and something that I've noticed reading and listening to many, many Dharma teachers talk about impermanence. And a lot of these concepts is that there is a lot of what we call figurative language. So figurative language is where what the words say mean something else, right? So it's like a tree, or like chocolate, or like holding on to the sun, right? It's not, we're saying something, describing it as something else, right? So examples of figurative language are like a metaphor or a simile. So a metaphor is when I say impermanence is eating chocolate, right? It's that process of like it's created and then you eat it and then it digests and all this. It's that. And then a simile is where I say impermanence is like a tree. It's like this. It's similar, right? And so these two terms are it can be hard to like judge like what exactly is a metaphor and simile. That's not what we're getting at. What I'm getting at is, figurative language where especially, a lot of Dharma teachings are given essentially as poetry. And so it's important to recognize and to kind of have the habit of thinking and listening a little bit as poetry, and understanding that, as you are, like, just think back to this experience 5 minutes ago of writing to a 5-year-old, and you're imparting this big nugget of wisdom and bringing it down into something very simple. You're giving a lot of meaning, but you can't fully describe it in words, right? The more words you put onto it, the weirder the metaphor gets. But with practice, you become clearer in expressing these things, and also your ability to interpret this poetry gets better. Because if we try to take it very concretely, and guess what? It falls apart. It's impermanent, right? So, so what I want to do for this next one is we're going to write some metaphors. Not very strict on what that format is, but here's how I want to do it. So I want to pick like 2 or 3 things in your life that at one time felt permanent. Right? So right now I'm thinking of when I had to wear braces. Okay, that felt very permanent at the time, even though I knew they'd come off, right? And so these can be like, it can be something that was positive in your life or, negative in your life, because really what I want you to do is focus on when it changed. So something that felt permanent, but it changed. Maybe you lost a job, the braces came off, you know, whatever it may be. And again, we're in the heart. We're in the heart. How did it feel, the change? How did it feel when the braces came off? How did it feel when you changed jobs? And think of some metaphor, simile. It was like this. And then you can, if you like to kind of explain the metaphor a little bit of like what that means to you, I could say, I'm just thinking stuff off the top of my head. Braces coming off was like, um, I don't know, it was like having a thorn removed or something, and I could explain about that. Okay, so um but I would like to, pick two or three things from your life and try to pick one that felt kind of negative and one that felt kind of positive. Don't just go for the bad stuff. Let's think of good stuff that's happened in our life too. Um, and what did that feel like? And if you like to talk a little bit about like kind of what the effect was of feeling this impermanence and how it settled in your life, and you want to take it that little step further, then that's lovely. But we're going to take 7 minutes. So, okay, is everybody clear on what we'll be doing? Okay, so think of a couple things in your life that felt permanent at one time, and then they changed. And how did it feel? And so instead of saying very directly, think of a metaphor or a simile, and we'll write some figurative language around that. Okay, 7 minutes. Let's go. Right, that's 7 minutes. Anybody like to share? Anybody ready? I'll share mine. That's okay. The first, okay. I'll just share. I'll share just one. The other one, I'll cry if I share it. Okay, braces coming off was like scaring away a blackberry bramble. The wires were entrenched in my bones, thorns entangled in each other and in leaves. Then Dr. Payne, I can't mess this up. My orthodontist's name was Dr. Payne. Dr. Payne came and startled them with a loud ha and some pliers. And the bramble picked up its roots and branches and ran off, leaving clean, naked, ruffled blankness behind. That was my one. Anybody else like to share theirs? And if you don't like to publicly, you can, but you still want to share, you can go to the Google Drive that's linked in the email, and and you can share there anonymously. You don't have to sign it. Um, but ultimately, this is for you. These writing exercises are for us to really like get into the feeling of these teachings. And so I'm setting them up so that they can be challenging if you want them, if you want to be challenged. And I understand that that's not always something that we like to share. Um, and that's okay too. There is a lot of value in writing just to write. And it's especially freeing if you know that nobody's going to look at this, nobody's going to hear it, nobody's going to judge it, nobody's going to judge your handwriting. You don't even need to read your handwriting. Just getting it out on paper and letting those emotions flow and letting those thoughts flow and letting yourself kind of do something about it is very powerful. Very, very powerful. Um, the first session, we were talking about like, should I type? Should I write? And typing is very nice. And some people get a lot of value out of the typing. But I don't have the studies like pulled up, but there have been studies on the value of actually going by hand and writing by hand, especially when it comes to um, like this emotional processing and experiencing that we're doing and these types of topics, or just writing anything by hand is very valuable. Um, you're taking it out of your head. You're bringing the emotions that get stuck up, bringing it out and like creating some movement. And that helps kind of complete the cycle to fully integrate these ideas and fully integrate the emotions. A lot of value. So if you like to, or what I mean to say is, when we're doing these exercises here and when you're writing on your own, to keep in mind that there is no expectation for you to produce anything. There is no judgment about word choice, no judgment about your handwriting. No, nobody's grading your understanding of the text. This is not an evaluation, right? And so how, if you wanted to just sit there and listen and then just think about what we're doing and just scribble on the page while you think about it, that has incredible value. We're all of us here, I am looking at all of us, we are all overeducated. We have all sat in too many classrooms being closely observed with incredible expectations about our performance and what we should be doing, right? And now it's time to let that go. That's impermanent. It's impermanent. And so, this is a space that you can do that. So, okay. So I want to try something for our poem for today. We're gonna do straight up. This is like poetry stuff. Okay. So we're gonna do okay, so first I want you to remember that you've already done some writing. You've done some like thinking about stuff. You've come up with some words. Okay. Pick some words that you like, or like little phrases, okay, that you like from today. And start with a blank page, fresh canvas, and anywhere on the page, anywhere. Just pick like no more than five max. I'm going to limit you. No more than 5 words or little phrases. Anywhere on the page, write those words. Okay? So there's a type of poem, there's like a form of poetry where you write the poem in a shape. We're going to do an even more abstract version of that. Okay? So you're putting these words that are really potent to you for today, for this discussion on impermanence. Put them anywhere on the page. And then connect them. How do you connect them? You can connect them with literal lines, scribbles, shapes, doodles. You can add more words in between them. So if 2 of my words are seed and tree, I could write a little sentence that seed turns into a tree and connect it that way, right? I could put braces and seed. Braces were a seed of, experiencing pain and pleasure. Braces were a seed of getting to know Dr. Payne, So you can connect them however you like. Does that make sense what I'm asking you to do? Because it makes sense in my head. So, we've got some points, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the page, and then connect connect your dots however you like, and just make whatever shapes. If you have multiple colors of pens or pencils, you can do that. You can, okay, or connect them with words or however you like. So let's play with that. Let's play with that for 10 minutes. We'll get 10 minutes because this is a little like abstract. And again, zero judgment, zero expectation. The weirder it is, maybe, maybe the better. That's setting expectations. You don't have to make it weird. Have fun. Have fun. Fun. Okay. We'll come back in 10 minutes. Okay, there's 10 minutes. So this one for sharing might be a little funny. I see how mine turned out, and it's like not really shareable. I can show you what it looks like. There's a lot going on. I'm hoping other people have a lot going on too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this one's a little bit more, yeah, yeah. Yeah, good, good, good. So, if you'd like to share your experience of doing this exercise, then I'd like to hear that. I found myself making connections and, bringing concepts together in ways that I just did not expect. Just associating the words and concepts together, phrases came out. Okay, so I had blackberry, bramble, and tree. And then this just came out. The blackberry bramble says to the tree, "Are you my mother?" The tree says, "Are you my father?" I don't know. I did not expect that to come out. I didn't expect the lines and colors to be this way. I don't know. Would anybody like to share their experience or share some lines or some shapes with us? Antonio? Antonio first.
So my 5 words were sun, hold on, scared, forget, and rely on. So I wrote them like this, and then I connected them, adding other words. So the first word that I added was I. I rely on the sun. Then this is kind of difficult to understand which one I did first, which words is connected to. Then I wrote using forget. I forget being the sun. Then I connected just a second. I'm trying to find the first word. I forget being the sun. I already said that. Okay, I want to hold on. I added I want to hold on to being. And then I don't know where this line brings me. Anyway, the point is, I deleted each word as I was crossing them with a line, like I kind of deleted them, and I was left with, wait, I was left with, hold on, to being, not to wanting, which I think is kind of cool.
I love that. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I love that. Josh, your turn.
Yes, so I had a long day and quite tired, and the first two exercises I did them, but I felt emotionally flat a bit. But then I drew out like 5 phrases from them both, and it started to come to life. So my 5 phrases were will only happen once, hard to believe, never again. Then it ended like an earthquake and dragged back to Stalag Luft 3. I had to look that up. And then I kind of coloured around them with coloured pens, like in the sort of emotional feeling of each one. And then I just found myself writing things in between. And so I did 2 lots of writing things in between. And one was like, when will it change? I don't want this anymore. When will it begin? Why must it change? When will it end? I hope this never stops. And then there's this one that just says, this pen has run out, which I thought that was impermanence in action, because I got a load of old coloured pens I dragged out of a drawer, and the red one's gone. And then I'll come back to the thing at the bottom at the very end. And then I ended up writing just feelings in big letters. So I've got exciting, poignant, bombshell, tragic, beautiful, scary, overwhelm, relief. So they're all feelings that have come with change. And then at the bottom it just says, what the actual fuck? And that was it. So it really came alive, and I wasn't really thinking too hard about any of it. And it just, I feel like, yeah, it's self-explanatory.
Yes.
So thanks for that. That was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Awesome. I love this. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. Anybody else want to share their experience from this? Victoria, go ahead.
Not done, but this is what 10 minutes got me. It's kind of hard to read, but I'll tell you that it says I did phrases instead of words through time and space. We come, we go. And then this one here says, how long has it been since you've been here? And then in the water drops here, it says, all drains lead to the same ocean.
It's lovely.
And I connected them through a chaotic spiral that they all kind of form into in the middle. It's messier than I would normally, I would say, allow myself. I'm very methodical, I would say, in my art. So it got a little messy, and I like that
Yeah,
about the experience. Yeah.
I like that too. I like that too. Is there anybody else who'd like to share before we wrap up? Okay. Oh, Karen, go ahead. Yeah.
I noticed that I was coming up with very small quantities for the past two exercises, and the metaphors were all like relief, like an exhale, and then one that was stressful is like a intense inhale. So all I really did actually was I pretty much just wrote exhale, inhale, and they'd like increase and decrease in font size. And they both have the same response, which is few exclamation mark red relief. And I connected them with the brackets like in math, like mathematical brackets. And that was all I could do. All I wanted to do.
It's what you did. You did it. You did it. You did it. Okay, so this is Hatha yoga wisdom. So for a long time, I had this like deep struggle with getting into crow pose. So crow pose, you're on your hands and your knees are in your armpit and you're kind of perched up on your hands like a crow and you're like bent over. And my teacher at the time, we were just working similarly, or not similarly, but like we were working one on one for a long time. And, I was having this huge struggle of like, I just can't do this. I'm not doing it, even with it just wasn't like coming out the way that I wanted it to. And she's like, no, you're doing it. Like, I'm looking at you, like, just the attempt, just the being here and saying to yourself, like, I'm doing crow pose and I'm, doing the movements and all. Just that's it. That's it. No result is necessary. No expectation of form or appearance is necessary because those forms and appearances are impermanent. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yes. So, as we go through, as we do these exercises, as we have these discussions about the text, just the showing up, just the showing up is the goal. And as you read through Words of My Perfect Teacher, there's one thing that comes up over and over and over again. Is these three key points. Take refuge. Do the practice without conceptualization. I'll say that again. Do the practice without conceptualization. And then dedicate the merit. That's it. That's all you need to do. And so that's what I'm really just overjoyed to do these practices with you and to have these explorations with you all because, you know, the practice of creating and making art, whether it be, visual art or poetry or music or whatever it is, this is a deeply sacred practice. This is incredibly powerful. And so to come here and play with you and all play together is just amazing. It's amazing. And so, I'm holding this without conceptualization of what will the result be, right? Who's going to show up? I don't know. Are people going to enjoy themselves? I don't know. Are people, what will come out of all of this? I don't know. It doesn't matter. What matters is we're taking refuge. We're doing this together, and then we're dedicating the merit. Because ultimately, we all had an experience today. And the foundation of that was discussing the Dharma, contemplating the nature of impermanence. And so all of that, so as we close up, let's come back to our seat. Come back to the spine, come back to the central panel, come back to the heart. And whatever benefit there was today for you. So whether that was, a realization about your creative practice, whether it was just having a good time with your friends, or, whatever benefit you had from this, however mundane or extraordinary, gather it up. And as we dedicate the merit, and remember, we're back in this space with all of our friends and relations and parents and enemies and teachers and, wisdom beings and all this, and the room is full. And we're full of merit from this practice. And as we close this and everyone kind of goes back to where they came from, all of that merit gets all spread all the way out. And you can imagine that just like the channel stretch, it goes out far, far and beyond, touches all beings and benefits all beings. Gewadi nur dudak chechi sala gopasho. So I want to thank you guys again for coming. Thank you so much, Dorota, for coming, even though no Polish people showed up, but that's okay. We got one.
I got to listen
one.
in. Yes.
I'm going to stop the recording real quick.